Hello, D-Rex here from Pyromaniac.com. As many of you may know by now, Randy Moss has been traded from the New England Patriots back to his original team, the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings gave up a third-round draft pick to get him, which pretty much sums up the fact that the New England Patriots got the biggest bargain for a fourth-round draft pick ever in the history of the NFL. Before the 2007 season, the Patriots got Randy Moss from the Oakland Raiders, as I said, for a fourth-round draft pick. For that fourth-round draft pick, in 3 full seasons, played all 16 games, all playoffs games that they had played, and then he's played in all 4 games so far this year. Here are his stats, regular season stats: 52 games, 259 catches for 3,904 yards and 50 TDs. That means he basically caught, during the regular season, a touchdown per game. Unbelievable. During his run with the Patriots, his playoff games, he only played in 4. Remember, they didn't make the playoffs in 2008 after their unbelievable season because Brady's knee got injured in the first game of the season. But in playoff games, his numbers dipped quite heavily. He had 12 catches for 142 yards and 1 TD in 4 playoff games with the Pats. They made it to the Super Bowl that game, and that 1 TD he did score in the playoffs for the Patriots was in that Super Bowl with that 1 TD. But the numbers in the playoffs are down pretty significantly. As a rookie, when Moss came in for the Vikings, he was sensational. If you play a rookie league, or even if you don't and you had drafted him, he pretty much probably was the difference maker in you winning your league. He was 3rd in the NFL in receiving as a rookie, and he had a rookie record 17 TDs. That's unbelievable. But he's a mercurial player, and lately he had a press conference after, I think it was the first game of this season, and said, he didn't think he was going to be around very long, he didn't feel wanted. He kind of aired out a lot of information, and that's definitely not the way the Patriots like to do it. Belichick's style is not airing it out to the media and getting, the locker room in a tizzy. He likes to do it behind closed doors. He had mentioned some stuff about Kraft and how, he didn't think the team wanted him, and he didn't think he'd be around after this season. With those 2 guys, that's pretty much a fast ticket out of town. And they pulled the trigger this morning, and Randy Moss is gone. Moss is an unbelievable talent. When you're talking about the top 5 receivers in the history of the game, the top 3 receivers in the history of the game, obviously Jerry Rice sits alone at top. But I'd take Randy Moss as the number 2 behind Rice as the best player, statistically for sure. Talent-wise, he's more of a talent than Jerry Rice. Probably the biggest specimen of a man that's actually produced ever. He's been misunderstood. He's definitely made some errors and has been kind of a punk here or there, especially when he was with Minnesota. But I thought, he held his composure pretty well when he was at Oakland. They were just a terrible team. He got injured a little bit. Then when he got to the Patriots, he had that unbelievable first season, breaking Jerry Rice's single-season touchdown record, almost having 100 catches. They came up just short of a perfect season. Had a lot to do with Randy coming there from the offensive side. Brady had never had a toy like Moss. Now, lately, Moss it hasn't been as great. He hasn't had a 100-yard game in the past 11 games for him. He averages just under about 6 targets a game, so they don't really go after him that much. Welker's turned into the slot machine guy that he is and gets unbelievable targets. But, with Moss, I just feel like the management felt that it was time for him to go. Same thing with this press conference that he held. It was just time for him to go. When he was with Oakland, right before his departure, and they traded him away for peanuts. With the Oakland Raiders, Moss was asked a couple questions about why he wasn't playing well and why it looked like he was loafing. Team leaders like Warren Sapp were calling him out for loafing when he was with the Raiders. His quote was, "Maybe because I'm unhappy and I'm not too much excited about what's going on, so my concentration and focus level tend to go down sometimes when I'm in a bad mood." Another quote he had right around that same time is, I might want to look forward to moving somewhere else next year to have another start and to really feel good about going out there and playing football. I think that was the Randy Moss that New England feared. He dropped that touchdown pass on Monday night this week. He didn't have any catches. He had an argument with the QB coach. It just was kind of seemed like the perfect time. They're going into the bye week. The Vikings really needed him to fill in the holes of Sidney Rice. I just think it was a perfect time. Would I have traded Randy Moss for a third-round pick? No, because I think no matter who you get with that third-round pick, Randy Moss has got a few good seasons left. I think you pay him his money. He brings a lot to the table for Randy Moss. So who gets affected fantasy-wise the most? I think Welker. I think now Welker is going to get double-teamed. I think the running game for the Patriots is hurting. I think Brady, Tate is a talent and fast, but he's no Moss, and they're not going to game plan for Brandon Tate like they would have for Randy Moss. Moss was opening up a lot of stuff for Wes Welker. I just don't see Brandon Tate coming in and replacing the top 2 best wide receiver of all time. You've got Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. They're 2 rookie tight ends. I think those guys, if they can step up and take the load off for Brady, I think that'll be huge. Obviously, again, I think Welker gets double teamed, but Hernandez is a mismatch for anyone. This Woodward guy out of the backfield seems to be a great third down option now for him. He's another little Welker guy. Julian Edelman seems to be out of the picture a bit. Especially after he screwed up that 2-point conversion play. The whole sidelines were yelling at him. I think his concentration and his confidence might be down a little bit. But, I mean, another thing you just got to think about is that Moss just really opened up, and people had to really always consider him, and the safety kind of always had to play over and take him over the top. And now I'm just not sure that the Patriots are really going to understand how much Randy Moss, even when he was loafing, even when he was being a slouch or whatever Revis called him. Revis, do you remember that catch from a few weeks ago? Best catch I've ever seen. Only Randy Moss. He's the only player in the history of the NFL that makes that catch. So let's go to the Minnesota now. How are they affected? Well, I think that's easy. I think Percy Harvin, and there's also a great article done by Rumford Johnny, one of Pyromaniac's newest additions. Total stud. Guy knows his fantasy in and out, and he actually is a hardcore Patriots fan. Read his article. It's called Off the Top of Our Fro, the fantasy implications of the Randy Moss trade. It's on Fantasy Football Pharmacy, and it's on Pyromaniac right now. It's a great, quick read. But I think Percy Harvin and Rumford agrees. He'll get a nice uptick in targets because now the downfield is open. Sidney Rice with his hip injury has been out. Adrian Peterson, obviously. Now that guy is just going to have less people in the box, even if they're just using Moss as a decoy going deep. Adrian Peterson is so psyched with this trade because you just can't stack all the people up on the box and to stop him. Randy Moss will go long, and Favre will hit him. So I think it's a great thing for Minnesota. Do I think they win the Super Bowl? No. Do I think this hurts the Patriots' chances of winning the Super Bowl? I do. But they feel like they thought it was the right time to do this. They obviously weren't going to pay him next year, so they got a third-round draft pick out of it. Again, the best bargain you could ever imagine. So that's really my piece on it. Great things happening at Pyro. Hope you're enjoying the season. Hope you've been following us. Hope we're helping you win your league. And thanks a lot.